Welcome along to another episode of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. We are up to episode 59, believe it or not, and it is a biggie this week. £20,000 Premier Greyhound Racing Golden Jacket Final, one of the biggest races of the year. We'll tackle last week's semi-finals, this week's final. As ever, Tony Bullen, open race correspondent of the Racing Post, joins us. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. The old weather's warmed up. I know we managed to find a couple of winners last week. They weren't very good prices, but I'll take that than a loser.
Well, listen, the double would have paid a few quid, so happy days. Hopefully everyone's happy. If you are, jump in the comments, let us know. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Loads for you to get stuck into this week. Football show covering all the cup finals. We've got the sweet spot, of course, tackling the golf with Steve Palmer, who's in red hot form, and everything you need to know about horse racing. So do get in touch with us. Drop yourself a comment below, whether you're watching us here on YouTube or, of course, on our Facebook page as well. It sounds like you are in good form, Tony. A little bit of sun on your back. And the action's red hot this week. One of the biggies, the Golden Jacket. Massive, massive race.
Yeah, obviously used to be based at Crayford, the Golden Jacket, and I think he's found a decent home over the 684 metres at Monmore. Obviously, Mark Wallace was very keen on winning the first one because he sent out an amazing team. It weren't even strength in numbers. It was just a sensational team that he sent down, and the cream's risen to the top in his department for sure.
Very much so. The track record's gone, all sorts going on. The champion trainer's got half the field in the final, and we might as well just jump straight into it then, shall we? We'll, of course, bring you our best bets as well at the end of the show. But let's roll into semi-final number one then from last week, over the 684 metres at Monmore. Bombay Nutty in trap 4 for Mark Wallace in the NWD partnership. In trap 4, 4093, Radical Scooby in the blue for the JR Racing Syndicate and Maxine Lock. Not to be for New Destiny here.
No, it was a bit of a disappointing run. I thought she'd turn a lot closer to the pace than she did, and she never even really threatened. Looked like qualifying at any stage of the race for me, but all credit to Bombay Nutty. We touched on that he struck his best form at the right time heading into the event. That confidence-boosting win at Perry Bar set him up really well for a tackle at this event, and he's done it really good. I mean, Radical Scooby has shaped well for Maxine Lock. I mean, Connection's got to be pleased with what this fella's shown. He was pitched in the deep end from the get-go, but he's acquitted himself well. But Bombay Nutty's shown that he's a versatile sort over sixpence, Dave.
Yes, Bombay Nutty doing the business there out of trap 4, beating the blue. Right, strap yourselves in then. The track record went 22 years. This track record is held. Granted, not an overly used trip, the 684 metres, but Mongis Wild, the TV trophy champion and the quest for another big title, smashed the track record 40.54 in trap 2. Hacker Carlo in the red, the other qualifier winner. Another winner for Mark Wallace in the NWD partnership. This dog is power, class, stamina, everything all rolled into one.
I mean, they say dogs ain't machines, but this dog he's an absolute machine. He's a beast of a dog, Dave. He's only had one defeat, which did come over course and distance. But what I like about him over this distance, I know he's won the TV trophy at Toaster, but he seems to look after himself to the third bend and hold his position. It's not like he's getting detached. And once the engine flicks to cruise control, he's a joy to watch him full flight. He really covers the ground. I mean, he's destroying dogs. I mean, he's destroying good dogs as well, but it's effortless. Once he gets to the front, that's when you see what an engine Mongis Wild has.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, we spoke about what will it be needed to win this Golden Jacket. New trip, 684, speed, stamina. This dog has got the lot, as you say. Went on to Simon Deacon as well, this Hacker Carlo and the Start Fresh Racing Club as well with a runner up there, albeit 10 lengths back, but they did qualify into the final with Hacker Carlo. But you know, one of Greyhound Racing's biggest shining lights at the moment, that's for sure. Mongis Wild. Right, the semi-final number 3 was won by Mark Wallace also. Here, New in Cloud doing the business, 41.21 out of trap 4. Magical Luna, one for the locals. The race with KB Luna Syndicate, local trainer Kim Billingham-Heim. What a story it would be for her to win the first ever Monmore Golden Jacket. But New Cloud, third in the Grand Prix, did the business.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of early pace. He showed that at Romford. He's not always foot perfect at the start, but I was expecting Hogan's Hawk to take them along here, but it was lights out really. Once New Cloud had struck the front, he acquitted himself well in the Grand Prix at Sunderland, did Mark Wallace's dog, and he relished the extra distance at Monmore. This 6.84 really played to his strengths, and it was all over as a contest once he was in front. Ballymac Taylor, she blows hot and cold nowadays for me. I know it's probably connections will probably think I'm being a bit insulting to her, but you just never know what Ballymac Taylor's going to turn up. The one that's got the finishing kick, or the one that's a little bit laboured, and I think she was a little bit laboured in the middle part of the race. All credit to Kim Billing and Magical Luna. I think sometimes the tougher the task for Magical Luna, the better she performs.
Yeah, interestingly, recording this on Wednesday afternoon, I spoke to Kim Billingham this morning. Not been straightforward. She got spiked quite badly in the opening round. Kim said she had to back off the bitch a couple of days after the heat, and wasn't able to get too much work into her. She's not been firing on all cylinders over the winter months, but just like you, Tony, bit of sun on her back, and she might just be coming right. So maybe look out for her. A big price in the final. Magical Luna there. One for the locals, but of course, New Cloud doing the business in that semi-final. Let's have a look at them then. £20,000 up for grabs on Saturday night. It is the 8:31 at Monmore. It is the Premier Greyhound Racing Golden Jacket final. In track one, Mongis Wild 1-4. Magical Luna 40-1. Hacker Carlo 66s. Radical Scobie 40s. New Cloud 8. Bombay Nutty 9-2. Is it all over, Tony, before they've even started, as the market suggests here? 1-4. Is it going to take something catastrophic in running or at the boxes for the top to get beat?
Yeah, I think he needs to get serious early traffic, Dave, and maybe one of the other kennel mates does steal the march. But with a clear passage and the way the dog's been looking after himself, getting a pitch by the third bend, the overall times tell you that he's going to be very difficult to contain. I'm not necessarily sure it'd be a Mark Wallace 1-2-3. I think Magical Luna, as you touched on, she's the type of bitch that could sneak into the frame. So if I'm going to play the forecast tricast, I'll probably be Mongis Wild, New Cloud, and Magical Luna. Now, I know Bombay Nutty's gone a bit quicker than New Cloud, but I just think the complexion of the race might change. If Mongis Wild gets to the front by the halfway point, then I think it could be a 1-5-2, Dave.
You read my mind there, because I was, of course, not going to let you get away with just giving us a 4-on winner in the final. So you're going 1-5-2. I fancy Magical Luna to run some sort of race as well. I think Mongis Wild is obviously broke the track record, but what he's got in his favour, as we know, is he's not a dog that needs to crash out and make all, and his hopes are not going to rest on that. So he just needs some sort of daylight, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the key to the race, really. It's what happens to Mongis Wild to the third bend. If he gets a run, he's going to win. If he gets held up, he could still possibly come through and win. It just depends what sort of traffic he finds. I don't think he'll find much traffic. I think he's a clever dog, and that engine that he's got, will he threaten the clock again? Who knows?
What are we looking at here without trying to get too much into recency bias? Are we looking at a great in Mongis Wild? You can only beat what's in front of you. There might be arguments that the stand scene and marathon scene is not as deep as it once was or has ever been. But this dog is just, he's not winning by a couple of lengths. He's winning by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well,
this is it. That phrase, you can only beat what's put in front of you. I mean, these ain't shabby types that he's beating. Like, he's putting them to the sword. It's not like he's beating them 2 or 3 yards. He's beating them 6, 8, double digits in clean run races. That's the thing that you've got to take into account. And you can see the way the dog opens up. The further they go, the further he pulls clear. And regardless who you're doing that against, when the time comes up and you're doing it on the clock as well, it's a serious performance each time.
Let us know in the comments below. Racing Post colleague Jim Cremin casting comparisons to the great Ballyregan Bob, Mongis Wild. What are your thoughts there? He's going to be a very short price to win the jacket on Saturday night. You'll, of course, be able to watch that live on the Premier Greyhound Racing stream. Beyond the red button on Sky Sports Racing and, of course, on the PGR website. And the link will be in the description below. Right, it's that time then for the best bets here on Off the Leash. Tony, back in the net last week for the both of us. Where are we off to?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Monmore. They've got 3 finals running alongside the Golden Jacket final, Dave. And there's an interesting sprint there. Could be dominated by Mark Wallace, but this is price-based, really. Pavilion Team is around 9-2 with the early prices. Now, Ballinakil Liam's really excelled since dropping down in distance. Contested the Monmore Puppy Derby final. But if he meets Guzzler at the wrong point at the crown of that first bend, I think the path could be clear for Pavilion Team with a half-decent exit. So, round a 9-2 mark, Pavilion Team in the 9:04, the Ladbrokes.com 264 sprint final.
Well, there you go. The informed Tony Bullen puffing his chest out and putting up a 9-2 chance. Best bet of the week there. Nice bit of value in the sprint final at Monmore. I'm going to go Saturday night as well, but I'm going to go to Central Park. Now, ground who's going to be a short price head count in the Stayers was turned over at 1-2 in a very similar race last week. It's going to be a short price, going to be favourite again. It was a very messy race, but she made up an incredible amount of ground after that trouble. And just purely on the fact that it was turned over last week, we might get a price, a shade of odds on. So I'm going to go head count in the Stayers contest. Tony's going with Pavilion Team, both on Saturday night, of course, live on the PGR service, beyond the red button on Sky Sports Racing. And, of course, on the PGR stream, link will be in the description. Massive weekend of ground racing, of course. The Derby is in full swing. I'm sure everyone watching that's been enjoying it. Tony, another big weekend. We thank you for your time, your expertise, as ever. And you out there as well for joining us. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Gamble responsibly. We'll see you next week.